students! Today we're going to learn about 4 things that we can do with data. The 4 things that we're going to learn about today are called mean, median, mode, and range. So you might also see them listed as MMMR. Here are my quick notes to introduce you to these 4 brand new mathematical terms, and in order to use them, we first need to understand what they mean. So this first word is median, and median is another way to say the middle number in a set of data. So if I asked you to find the median, you would have to find the number in the middle. In order to find the number in the middle, we will have to put our numbers in order first if they're mixed up to start. The next term for today is mode, and the mode is the number that occurs the most often. I'm going to look at a set of numbers and see if one number or more than one number happens more than all of the other numbers. Then we have mean. The mean is also called the average, and it's something that a lot of teachers use when they're trying to figure out your grades. So what they do is they actually add all of your points up, and then they're going to divide by however many assignments you had. So you have good days with high scores, you have bad days with some lower scores, and what the mean or the average does is it puts all your points together, and then it evens them out to one number that represents you as a student. So these are all something that a set of data might have in common, or finding the middle or the center, but the range is just asking us what's the difference between all these numbers. And it's the difference between the largest number and the smallest number. And so we want to know how far spread out is all of our data. So I've underlined some letters that I find helpful to remember what these words mean. Median has a D approximately in the middle, and the word middle also has a D approximately in the middle. So that helps me remember that median is the middle number. Mode starts with MO, and so does the word most. Some students also like to remember this as the number that shows up more than the others. The mean, we have this A here, and this A reminds me that it's also called the average. I also say that the mean is mean, as in it's not nice, because it gives us 2 steps we have to do mathematically. We have to add our numbers and then divide by how many there were. And then the range, we have an R and an E. They're separated, so those represent the smallest and the largest numbers in our set of data, and we're finding the difference. So this comes from a nursery rhyme called Hey Diddle Diddle, although the original nursery rhyme had different words in it. This has been reconfigured to help us remember what each of these words means in math. I've had students over the years really like this method of remembering these words. Hey diddle diddle, the median's the middle. You add and divide for the mean. The mode is the one that occurs the most, and the range is the difference between. So this might connect with your brain a little bit better than just taking notes on what these words mean. So hopefully this is a helpful thing. Feel free to pause the video, screenshot this, or write it down if you think it would be helpful. Now we're going to practice mean, median, mode, and range with a set of data. So that's just a set of numbers in math. What I find the most helpful is going and underlining those key letters in each word. That's going to remind me what it means. Another tip that I have for my students is you don't have to solve these in order. The word mean comes first, but I find the mean to be challenging because I've got a lot of math to figure out off to the side. So I'm going to zoom in on the ones that my brain finds the easiest. And for me, that is mode. So the mode is the number that occurs the most in my set of data. And if I just look with my eyes, I notice that the number 1 shows up twice. Every other number is only on there once. 1 occurs the most. So my mode is 1. I like to do range next, and the reason is because all I'm going to do is find the difference, which means I'm going to subtract the biggest and the smallest number on my list. My biggest number is a 6 over here, and my smallest number that I see is a 1. So I want to find the difference between 6 and 1. So I'm going to do 6 minus 1 is 5. That means the range of my data is 5. So the difference between the biggest number and smallest number is 5. If these were ages, maybe at a party, the range of the kids at my party is they're all within 5 years of one another. Next, I like to do median, and the median is the middle number. And first, I'm going to actually show you what the biggest mistake that I see is. I see a lot of people take their data, They don't look at the order and they just find the number in the middle. So they look and they say that the 1 must be the middle number. The problem with this is if you think about these numbers and you think about these ages of kids at a birthday party, the 1-year-old doesn't have the middle age at my party. The 1-year-old and this other 1-year-old are actually the youngest. So that doesn't make sense. For the median, before you can find a number in the middle, you have to make sure that your list is in order. So off to the side, I'm going to rearrange this data and I'm going to put it in order from least to greatest. So my youngest kids are 1-year-olds. So I'm going to start with my 1-year-olds in my list. 1, 1. Next, I have a 2-year-old. Then we have our 5-year-old. And then we have our 6-year-old. Now that my ages are all in order, it makes more sense to find the age in the middle. And one strategy that's helpful is you can start underlining the ages on the ends until you reach the middle. So my 6-year-old is the oldest, I'll underline that, and my 1-year-old is the youngest. Next, I have the next oldest, which is the 5-year-old, I'll underline him. And then we have another 1-year-old over here, I'll underline her. And then I have now found the middle age at my party, which is the 2-year-old. And last but not least, we have the mean, and the mean is the average. So we're going to add up all of our ages, and then we're going to divide by however many kids are at the party. I think this could be mental math for some people, so I'm going to try this mental math for this example. I'm going to add up the ages. 6 and 5 makes 11, 1 more makes 12, 1 more makes 13, and then we have 14, 15. So I'm going to jot down a 15 over here. Now my answer is not 15. That's just the total of my ages. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to divide this 15 by however many kids were at the party, or however many numbers are in your list. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There were 5 kids. So I'm going to take these 15 total years and divide by 5 and find a number that is the average, or another way to find sort of the center of all of my ages. So 15 divided by 5 is 3. So the mean, or the average age, is a 3-year-old. Now there's not actually a 3-year-old, but if you look at our numbers and you go back to maybe this list, you know that if there were a 3-year-old at the party, they would fit somewhere near the middle of all of those ages. So here's how we figure out mean, median, mode, and range for the set of data. We're going to try this again with a new set of data. So let's say that I was a store owner and I sell cupcakes, and these are the amount of cupcakes that I sold each day over the course of a handful of days. So I sold 3 cupcakes, then another day I sold 12, and then 18, and then 12, and so on. Again, I'm going to recommend that you skip around and do the ones that are easier and quicker first. So let's find the mode of my cupcake sales. So the mode is the number that occurs the most. And if I just look up here, there's definitely a number that stands out. The most common number of cupcakes that I sold up here was 12. I have 1, 2, 3 of them. No other number shows up 3 times. So the mode of my cupcake sales was 12 cupcakes. Next, we're going to look at my range. The range would be the difference between the largest and the smallest number in your set of data. My largest number was an 18. That is my best day, my highest day, my largest number. The lowest number, my worst cupcake sales day. We have this 3 over here. Okay, so we're going to find the difference between those days. 18 minus 3 is 15. The range between my best sales day and my worst is a difference of 15 cupcakes. Next, we're going to do median. Don't make the mistake that some people do and find the middle number up here, because you'll notice that this list is very mixed up. You can't find a number in the middle if your list isn't organized. So let's put them in order from least to greatest. My lowest cupcake day was selling 3. Then I had a 6 and a 7. And then I had my 3 12s, 12, 12, 12. And then my best day was my 18. Now that I have my list, I'm going to try and find the number in the middle. I like to underline 3 and 18, highest and lowest. Those are gone. Let's do this next. 12 and my 6, another 12 and my 7, and I have narrowed it down to this 12 in the center. So my median or middle number was 12. Interesting. So my mode was 12. My most common cupcake sales was 12. The number in the middle of all my sales was also a 12. So 12 might be a really good representation of about how many cupcakes I'm going to sell in a regular day. Okay, last we have mean. So we're gonna add all of our cupcake sales together. We're gonna add up all of our numbers, and then we're gonna divide by 7 because we had 7 numbers, or we counted this over 7 days. I'm gonna use my 12s. And I know that 12 plus 12 plus 12 is the 36. So I've added those together. Next is 7 and a 3 I know makes 10. So I'll jot down the 10. I have an 18 left, and I have a 6 over here. So I'm going to add those up. 20, regroup the 2. So I got 70. Now, my mean or my average isn't 70. That's the total amount of cupcakes I've sold. So I'm going to take this 70 and I'm going to divide by 7 because there were 7 days or 7 numbers. I know that 70 divided by 7 is 10. So my mean or my average cupcake sale on an average day would be about 10 cupcakes. So there you have our lesson on mean, median, mode, and range. Good luck, work hard, and let me know if you have questions.